Hi there. Let's do lesson 24. I do not perceive my own best interest. In no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. In no situation. And remember, all of these lessons are pointing out what the ego is doing. So keep in mind that this is just always highlighting that ego part of us that is covering up the true essence of who we are. So let me start again. In no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that would make you happy. Therefore, you have no guide to appropriate action and no way of judging the result. What you do is determined by your perception of the situation, and that perception is wrong. It is inevitable then that you will not serve your own best interest, yet they are your only goal in any situation which is correctly perceived. Otherwise, you will not recognize what they are. If you realize that you do not perceive your own best interest, you could be taught what they are. I mean, if we just be willing to do this work, it's amazing, but you will discover what our own best interest is when we begin to understand why God created us the way that God created us. Sentence 2 in paragraph 2. But in the presence of your conviction that you do know what they are, you cannot learn. The idea for today is a step toward opening your mind so that learning can begin. The exercises for today require much more honesty than you are accustomed to using. A few subjects honestly and carefully considered in each of the 5 practice periods, which should be undertaken today, will be more helpful than a more cursory examination of a large number. So we want to work with fewer numbers and make sure that we're being extremely honest than having a long list of things. Those of you who want to make a long list of things know that that's an ego distraction, by the way. Sentence 3 in paragraph 3. 2 minutes are suggested for each of the mind-searching periods which the exercises involve. Paragraph 4. The practice periods should begin with repeating today's idea, followed by searching the mind with closed eyes for unresolved situations about which you are currently concerned. The emphasis should be on uncovering the outcome you want. You will quickly realize that you have a number of goals in mind as part of the desired outcome, and also that these goals are on different levels and often conflict. In applying the idea for today, name each situation that occurs to you and then enumerate carefully as many goals as possible that you would like to be met in its resolution. The form of each application should be roughly as follows. In the situation involving Ken, I would like for him to stop accusing me. I would like for him to start trusting me. I would like for him to stop being angry with my children. I would like for him to start being kinder and gentler. I would like for him to start acknowledging his own stories. In the situation involving Ken and his jealousy, I would like for him to start going with me to places that I go so he can see what I'm doing. And that's about all the examples I have right now that I can't even remember. It's been so long ago. Sentence number 4 in paragraph 5. Try to cover as many different kinds of outcomes as may honestly occur to you, even if some of them do not appear to be directly related to the situation or even to be inherent in it at all. Paragraph 6. If these exercises are done properly, you will quickly recognize that you are making a large number of demands of the situation which have nothing to do with it. You will also recognize that many of your goals are contradictory, that you have no unified outcome in mind, and that you must experience disappointment in connection with some of your goals, however the situation turns out. After covering the list of as many hoped-for goals as possible, For each unresolved situation that crosses your mind, say to yourself, I do not perceive my own best interest in this situation. And then go on to the next example. Bottom line, I could not perceive my own best my own best interest in the situation with Ken because I was protecting myself. I wanted to protect my children. I wanted to have Ken stop doing certain things or start doing other things. But my own best interest was to acknowledge that Ken's thoughts about me did not change who I was. My own best interest was to do what God was telling me, which was to love Ken no matter what, see his innocence, because then I was projecting my innocence. And as long as I know my innocence, I don't need anybody else to buy into my innocence, because I was projecting a man who was showing me back to me that I wasn't fully, completely owning my innocence, which is why I was defending it. If I knew what I was, I wouldn't try so hard to convince him about it. I would have just known it. And if he didn't want to see it, then I would have just easily have said, okay, no big deal. Let him go about his business of attacking, which eventually I did. But it took me quite a few years to finally let go of defending myself. I could have let go a lot sooner had I known this, but I didn't know my own best interest. And it wasn't until I began to ask the Holy Spirit to help me figure out my own best interest that I realized that my own best interest was to see his innocence, because that was a reminder of mine. Thanks a bunch. I'll see you in the next lesson.